Today, we're going to learn a little more about the dirtiest country in the world, which is also the seventh largest economy. If you're a tourist, about to go on vacation, or just love learning about new cultures, then you're on the right path. My name is Alex Taylor, and I travel the world with my wife, Megan, to bring you curiosity, tourism, and cultural behaviors from different countries. To make sure you don't miss any content, follow our channel and turn on notifications. Welcome to another adventure on the cultural trail of our lives. India is a fascinating country with a warm welcome for visitors. Over the past 15 years, Megan and I have traveled the world with the goal of experiencing the most diverse foreign cultures. This time, we're going to talk about this vibrant and contrasting country. India's history is marked by incredible wealth and scarcity, which can be hard to believe. The country is located in South Asia, is the seventh largest in the world by area, and borders Pakistan, China, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, and Myanmar. Its strategic location between the Indian Ocean and the great Himalayan mountain ranges makes it a meeting point for various cultures and influences. India is currently the most populous nation on the planet, with an estimated 1.428 billion inhabitants. This population growth puts the country ahead of China and highlights its young and expanding demographic dynamics. Let's begin our journey through Indian cuisine. You've probably seen some videos of Indian cuisine. India's street food videos have gained global popularity, either becoming memes or showcasing the fascinating, rich, and vibrant local cuisine. With exotic ingredients and preparations that range from traditional to creative, these productions capture the essence of what is most authentic in Indian cuisine. The streets are filled with garbage, cows, stalls, and food carts serving everything from spicy, crunchy snacks to extravagant, colorful sweets, reflecting the country's cultural and gastronomic diversity and the lack of hygiene in preparation. However, the enchantment with street food comes with significant concerns about sanitary conditions. Often, the videos show food being prepared in places with little or no sanitation infrastructure, raising questions about food safety. Hygiene practices vary, with some vendors adopting strict measures, while others may neglect essential aspects, exposing consumers to potential risks. Despite the sanitary challenges, street food in India remains an essential element of the cultural and gastronomic experience. The authenticity and unmatched flavor of these dishes attract both locals and tourists, creating a vibrant scene that reflects the welcoming spirit and resilience of India's urban communities. The passion for these delicacies and the dynamism of India's streets make gastronomic exploration an essential part of any visit to the country. Basic sanitation in India. Hygiene conditions in Indian cities face significant challenges, reflecting rapid urbanization and population growth. Many urban areas are marked by streets covered in garbage and open sewage, a result of inadequate sanitation infrastructure and poor waste management. The lack of indoor toilets in about 46% of households, combined with the practice of open defecation by 49% of the population, exacerbates the problem, making unsanitary conditions a daily reality for millions. The lack of basic sanitation directly affects public health, with human sewage often flowing directly into rivers, contaminating drinking water sources. Air pollution, caused by high levels of particulate matter, PM 2.5, worsens the situation, with many Indian cities exceeding WHO guidelines by 10 times. This scenario contributes to an increase in respiratory and gastrointestinal diseases, impacting the quality of life and placing a burden on public health services. Efforts to improve hygiene conditions in Indian cities include government initiatives like the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, which aims to eliminate open defecation and promote safer sanitation practices. However, the implementation of these reforms faces obstacles, such as a lack of financial resources and administrative challenges. The campaign, with a budget of $10 billion, has attempted to address the situation by promoting the construction of more toilets and improving waste management. Despite progress, the path to significant improvement in hygiene conditions is long and complex. India needs a comprehensive approach that includes the development of sanitation infrastructure, awareness campaigns, and community involvement. To tackle these challenges, continuous and coordinated efforts are crucial among the government, civil society, and the private sector, aiming to transform sanitary conditions and ensure a healthier urban environment for all. Before continuing our evaluation of our visit to India, be sure to follow our channel and turn on notifications to keep receiving our content. Toilets in India. The scarcity of toilets is a critical problem in India, especially in densely populated urban areas. Approximately 46% of Indian households still lack indoor toilets, forcing a significant portion of the population to defecate outdoors. This situation is particularly severe in cities like Delhi and Mumbai, where the lack of basic infrastructure contributes to an unsanitary environment and the spread of diseases. The lack of public toilets amplifies the problem, as many Indians rely on these facilities for their daily needs. The situation is worsened by rapid urbanization, which has overwhelmed existing infrastructures without keeping up with population growth. In many cities, the absence of adequate sanitary facilities results in unsanitary practices, such as open defecation, which contaminates the environment and affects public health. Moreover, income inequality exacerbates the challenge of basic sanitation. Poorer communities, often residing in areas with inadequate infrastructure, face a lack of access to toilets and sanitation facilities. This not only harms the health of these populations but also exacerbates already poor living conditions, creating a cycle of poverty and lack of hygiene. The impact of the lack of toilets and inadequate infrastructure is profound, with direct consequences for public health. The lack of basic sanitation contributes to the spread of waterborne diseases, increased healthcare costs, and a decline in quality of life. Building toilets and improving sanitation conditions are essential to addressing these challenges and promoting a healthier environment for all. The sacred and the trash. The Ganges River, considered one of the most sacred rivers in India, plays a central role in Hindu culture, revered as a living goddess. However, the sacredness of the Ganges starkly contrasts with its current environmental condition. The river is a symbol of spiritual purity, but it faces severe pollution due to the improper disposal of waste and sewage, compromising its physical and spiritual purity. The contamination of the Ganges is a significant public health issue. Religious practices, such as the dumping of ashes and purification rituals, often contribute to the pollution, while domestic and industrial sewage is frequently discharged directly into the river. This pollution compromises water quality, making it dangerous for the millions of residents who depend on the Ganges for their daily needs, such as drinking and bathing. Besides health issues, Ganges pollution severely affects aquatic life and riparian ecosystems. High levels of chemical and organic pollutants reduce water quality and kill fish and other forms of life, disrupting the ecological balance and impacting the livelihoods of local communities. The environmental degradation of the river results in significant economic and social impacts for populations living along its banks. The Indian government and various organizations have implemented initiatives to clean the Ganges, but the magnitude of the problem requires continuous and comprehensive effort. Projects like Namami Gange aim to restore the river's health, but the effectiveness of these initiatives depends on collaboration between authorities, local communities, and citizens. Preserving the Ganges is crucial not only for environmental health but also for maintaining its cultural and spiritual importance to India. And to learn a little more about India's history, keep watching this video and hear the incredible story that Megan has to tell about India.
Colonial history and its consequences. This part of the story I'm particularly keen to share. I'm Megan Collins, Taylor's wife, and a photographer and journalist. And as such, I couldn't miss documenting this country's history. The British colonial period left a deep mark on India's infrastructure and economy, shaping many of the challenges the country faces today. During British rule, much of the natural resources and wealth were exploited to benefit the metropolis, while India received limited investments in infrastructure and development. This imbalance contributed to a fragile and underdeveloped economic base that persisted after independence. Colonial exploitation also resulted in an administrative system that prioritized control and resource extraction over the well-being of the local population. The infrastructure developed by the British, such as railways and ports, was mainly intended for the transport of raw materials for export rather than meeting internal development and sanitation needs. This legacy left a critical deficit in basic services and infrastructure. The lack of investment in essential infrastructure during the colonial period has resulted in persistent problems of poverty and underdevelopment in India. The poor living and sanitation conditions, evident in both urban and rural areas, are a direct consequence of colonial policies that neglected the population's well-being in favor of British interests. This neglect has contributed to the maintenance of socio-economic disparities and current challenges. This colonial legacy continues to impact modern India, exacerbating problems of poverty and infrastructure. The Indian government has strived to reverse these historical conditions but faces difficulties due to the economic and social foundations established during British rule. Current reforms and projects, such as Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, are efforts to overcome the limitations imposed by the colonial past and improve the living conditions of the population. Culture, spirituality, and hospitality that attract Americans. Before we wrap up this video, find out why, despite its social challenges, India continues to attract tourists like me and Taylor. India holds a unique allure for Americans and visitors from around the world, offering a vibrant destination rich in culture, spirituality, and history. The country provides a profound experience, with ancient temples, majestic palaces, and breathtaking natural landscapes. Iconic sites like the Taj Mahal, the Ghats of Varanasi, and the deserts of Rajasthan reveal a vast and captivating cultural heritage, drawing those seeking immersion in age-old traditions. In addition to its cultural legacy, India is a spiritual hub for many Americans, particularly those interested in practices like yoga and meditation, travel to India to connect with spiritual teachers and experience life in ashrams. Places like Rishikesh, often referred to as the world capital of yoga, offer an escape from the fast-paced life of the West, fostering a journey of self-discovery and inner peace. The purchasing power of the US dollar compared to the Indian rupee also makes the country attractive to tourists. Travel, accommodations, and daily expenses are significantly lower, allowing Americans to enjoy luxuries that might be out of reach back home. They can indulge in local cuisine, stay in high-end hotels, and explore cultural attractions on a budget, maximizing the value of their dollar. Despite poverty and social challenges, India is renowned for its warm hospitality. The concept of Atithi Devo Bhava, the guest is God, prevails, with visitors treated with respect and generosity. Indian hospitality, combined with the country's cultural and spiritual diversity, creates a welcoming atmosphere that keeps Americans coming back for unique and enriching experiences.
Social inequality and unorganized growth. Social inequality in India is one of the main drivers of sanitation and living condition challenges in urban areas. In a country where a significant portion of the population lives in extreme poverty, access to basic services like sanitation is often limited. Economic disparities result in infrastructure segregation, with wealthier communities enjoying better conditions while poorer areas face unsanitary conditions. Unplanned urban growth intensifies these problems, as the rapid expansion of cities is not accompanied by adequate infrastructure development. Accelerated urbanization overwhelms sanitation systems, resulting in increased street litter and a lack of access to toilets. The uncontrolled growth of cities often overlooks the basic needs of the most vulnerable populations, exacerbating the sanitation crisis. In low-income areas, the lack of planning and resources makes sanitation and waste management critical challenges. Inadequate or non-existent basic sanitation services affect the health and quality of life of millions of people, particularly children and women. Open sewage and piles of trash in the streets are common scenes in slums and densely populated neighborhoods, reflecting a profound lack of infrastructure and public policies. Government efforts to address this situation have encountered difficulties, including corruption, inefficient management, and resource shortages. Social inequality and unplanned urban growth are intertwined problems that require comprehensive solutions. Addressing these challenges demands coordination between authorities, civil society, and the private sector, as well as a focus on reducing economic disparities and improving the distribution of infrastructure and basic services. After hearing this story, I'm sure you've been shocked by how bad the situation in India is. It's disappointing to see that nothing has been done. There are significant differences between the Indian government's agenda and that of the European and American governments, for example. In India, no proper planning is made to improve the life of the local population. Religious traditions and hygiene. In India, religious traditions play a significant role in the approach to personal and collective hygiene. In Hinduism, physical and spiritual purity is fundamental, with practices such as ritual bathing in sacred rivers and the regular cleaning of places of worship. Similarly, Islam emphasizes the importance of cleanliness, with practices like the ritual washing of hands and feet before daily prayers, reflecting a deep respect for personal hygiene. Despite these strong religious precepts, the reality in large cities often contrasts with these traditions. Rapid urbanization and population growth exacerbate sanitation and hygiene issues, resulting in unsanitary conditions in urban areas. The lack of adequate infrastructure and the scarcity of sanitary facilities contribute to an urban environment that often does not meet the cleanliness standards expected by religious traditions. This discrepancy between religious practices and urban reality reflects the complexity of the challenges faced by India. While traditions promote high hygiene standards, the practical implementation of these standards is often compromised by a lack of resources and rapid urbanization. The difficulty in reconciling these traditions with everyday reality highlights the urgent need for improvements in sanitation and hygiene infrastructure in cities. The struggle to align traditional practices with modern reality is a microcosm of the broader challenges faced by the country. Religious traditions emphasize the importance of cleanliness, but the ability to maintain these standards in large cities is severely limited by inadequate infrastructure and uncontrolled growth. This complex relationship between tradition and reality underscores the need for comprehensive reforms to improve urban living conditions and ensure that hygiene ideals can be fully realized. We're almost at the end of this video, but not at the end of our notes. So stay tuned for new stories, as we'll soon post more details about this beautiful and controversial nation. Our upcoming topics are human waste collection, the impact of lack of education and illiteracy, and the need for comprehensive approaches to the country's sustainability. Share this video, and see you in the next content. My name is Alex Taylor, and I want to thank everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed this first part of our documentary on India. Leave your comments and let us know what more you'd like to learn about this country. Megan and I will be back soon to bring you even more information about this amazing place, and if you want to know more about the places we visited, check out our other content.